Both, I want to just acknowledge some amazing work that the U.S. military has done in two very challenging contexts recently. The U.S. effort to support Israel, together with other nations, during the attack from Iran was truly a superb operation. And I don't think that kind of thing happens by accident or by chance. It demonstrates an awful lot of training, an awful lot of capacity, an awful lot of cooperation. And had we not been successful in that, the level of escalation that we might have seen in the region, the damage to Israeli cities, communities, people, the likely escalation thereafter could really have been devastating at a very critical time where the last thing we need is escalation in the Middle East. And so I just, at a hearing like this, I want to acknowledge the great service of U.S. military in forming together with Israel and other nations a defense against the Iranian attack. And second, the work that the U.S., primarily the Navy, but not solely the Navy, has done in the Red Sea to repel attacks by Houthis against commercial ships, military ships. Again, in tandem with allies, but most of the work is being, the hard work, the kinetic hostile fire is being taken by U.S. military has been truly remarkable. And the remarkable thing, and I know this has got to keep you guys up every night, is when we are sitting there in the Red Sea and absorbing incoming over and over and over again, we have to have 100% success rate. It can't be 98, can't be 99%. My understanding is it's been 100% up to now. I don't want to jinx it, and we've been as close as 3,000 yards from striking a U.S. ship that we were able to take down with a Gatling gun. Some use of missiles has enabled us to take down incoming missiles or drones at further distance, but 3,000 yards is pretty close. And we've got a lot of Virginians on those ships in the Red Sea, and I know other members here have sailors from their states there too. So I want to start with that, and that it takes a lot of work to get to that. I mean, the development of the Aegis system goes back decades, and good intel, and using the intel well, both to defend but also to strike positions in Yemen that could do damage. I mean, I just want to express appreciation. I do want to focus on the Red Sea, and so let me begin with Director Haines. What does the IC assess about the Houthis' continuing threat on commercial shipping, and how long is that threat likely to remain active?
Yeah, so our assessment is essentially that it is going to remain active for some time. It is in part because Abdul Malik, the leader of the Houthis, continues, we think, to see domestic political advantage for some of the actions that he's taking, that he is interested in kind of burnishing his regional reputation, and he has seen this to be adding to that in many respects, and that they continue to indigenously produce a fair amount of UAVs, other weapon systems, and so on, and of course are also getting assistance from the Iranians in this respect, and that neither of those things are likely to change in the near future. Now, that doesn't mean that the strikes that the Department of Defense and the coalition with our allies have taken haven't had impact. They have, but it's been insufficient to really stop the Houthis from going down this road, and so that is sort of our...
What's your assessment about if there were to be a ceasefire in Gaza, what's the likelihood that the pace of attacks would significantly reduce?
Yeah, it is honestly unknown at this stage. They have indicated that at different times that they would comply with the ceasefire, so I think there's a fair possibility that that is what.
And wasn't there some abatement of the pace of attacks into the Red Sea during the ceasefire?
That's exactly right. They did in the prior one, but it's just one of the things that's been challenging is that their rationale for their attacks has shifted over time a bit, and it's gotten more complicated at times. He's indicated that they wouldn't stop unless and until humanitarian assistance had been delivered to a certain degree, things like that. And so it seems like there are additional requirements that he's added, but it doesn't mean that he wouldn't pause during the ceasefire.
And even if the ceasefire, might under past rationale lead them to stop, to the extent that they feel like this is burnishing their reputation for being kind of a bad actor, they might continue even in a ceasefire condition.
Yeah, it's possible.
Last question. Why aren't more allies and members of the coalition helping the United States and actually taking military action against Houthis who are targeting their ships? I mean, we're protecting commercial ships of other nations. the number of nations that are participating in the military activity seems small to me. Why, how should I understand that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start, and General Cruz may have more to add here. I think a number of them really are trying to help in any way that they can, and we've seen it come in different forms, you know, and I would really defer to the Department of Defense in terms of the degree of it, but let me...
How about a quick answer since I'm over my time, General Cruz?
Sir, I think I would just add that to the DNI's point, many of them are contributing in other ways, and there are important ways. And while there's few that might be doing defense in the Red Sea, specifically, they're doing things that we actually count on, and we appreciate the partnership, but would welcome anyone else who would want to participate.
Senator Cotton.